We'll get started.
Good to go.
Okay. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Welcome to the Bloomington Rotary Club's weekly celebration service for September 22nd, 2020. I'm your current president, Ashley Sullivan. Thank you so much for being here. Michael, please show the flag graphic for 15 seconds of respectful silence. We ask that you remain on mute and take this time to personally reflect. Thank you. Now I'd like to introduce Efrat Pfefferman, who will be offering our reflection today.
Thank you so much, Ashley. And good to see everyone. On Friday, the start of the Jewish New Year, our nation lost a brilliant and righteous woman, Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. The second woman ever to serve on the Supreme Court upon her appointment by President Clinton in 1993. Ginsburg had already spent decades of her life immersed in the pursuit of justice and a more perfect union. Her persistence and dedication to doing so in an era when opportunity for women to even enter the legal field is noteworthy on its own, and undoubtedly only served to strengthen her understanding of the barriers entrenched in our society on the basis of sex, which dishonor the Constitution and its promises to all people. Through her studies at Harvard and Cornell, and then her early career with the ACLU and in academia, Ginsburg came to intimately understand that in a world ruled by men of privilege, this task would not be an easy one. Discriminatory laws built on assumptions of gender roles were viewed largely by men as structures there for the protection of the weaker sex. And so careful strategy had to be involved in order to enlighten the courts and the nation on the harm to both men and women of such structures. In 1972, when the ACLU launched the Women's Rights Project and hired her as its first director, she was able to thoughtfully bring forward cases to the highest court that would help demonstrate this concept of the constitutional harm inflicted by discrimination on the basis of sex. I'll quote Columbia Law School professor Catherine Frank, who assessed that her thinking that male judges would appreciate the injustice in a case where men were the victims, and in winning those cases, she was building the scaffolding for addressing the sexism women suffered. As an initial approach to combating sexism, Ginsburg's strategy was extremely effective. Her tireless work is credited with extending 14th Amendment protections for women, including equal opportunities, benefits, and pay, in military allowances, in jury duty, and more, but also in extending equality to men in non-traditional roles of the time, such as caregiving. Perhaps more difficult to list and quantify in recent years are the number of us girls who grew up watching this petite, soft-spoken Jewish woman turned icon, and taking note that the world was slowly but surely changing for the better, and that we could all do our part to bend that arc of justice more speedily. Maybe we weren't pigeonholed into roles and professions based on our gender. I count myself as one of those many girls who's faced the discrimination of systems and structures, who has channeled her strength when walking into male-dominated spaces, claiming my own rights as a person. Ginsburg, when approached by fans sharing what a role model she is for their daughters, was known to point out that she hopes that she is also for their sons too. You are, and will continue to be, the notorious RBG. May your memory be a blessing, and may we all be a credit to her name. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You got me tearing up, Efrat. Beautiful tribute. Now I'd like to introduce our guests that are with us today. Morgan Adam is here with us from Greensburg Rotary. She's the daughter of 2017-18 District Governor Bryce Adam. Welcome, Morgan. Is Darren Patterson with us?
Haven't seen him, Ashley.
Okay. And Randy Wheeler is with us today from Evansville Rotary, and he is our District 6580 Secretary. Welcome, Randy. Are there any other guests that we see here today?
We're pleased to welcome back Liz Granat, who is with CJAM. Liz, good to have you with us. And I think we've got past President John Bush of the Bedford Rotary Club tuning in today. So welcome, everybody.
And we should say hi to Megan Gerhardt, who's the Rotaract president.
Oh, thank you. I saw Megan up there. Hi, Megan.
Welcome. We also have Cynthia Knightheart as a guest for only a few more minutes. So welcome, Cynthia. Okay, thanks to our producers, Michael Shermis, Sally Gaskell, and Natalie Blades today. And roundabout reporter is Glenda Murray. Birthdays. We have a very important birthday today. Everyone's birthday is important, but our visiting speaker, our district governor, her birthday is today. Happy birthday, Jessica Hayne. And
Hey.
we'd like to sing her our well wishes. So Sally, would you take it away? Start us off.
Everyone else will also unmute. Okay.
Okay, let's do this.
Amy Osajima, let's do it.
Okay, let's do it.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Jessica. Happy birthday to you. Thank you.
Glad we're not a singing club.
Yes, we've just been reminded why we're not a singing club. Thank you for bringing that up. But happy birthday. Our other very special birthdays, and you were included in those well-wishing, Rosie Levy, September 24th, Jack McCrory, September 26th, and Joe King, September 27th. Membership anniversaries, we have quite a few. John Beretta, 7 years. Efrat Pfefferman, 2 years. Joe King, 2 years. Past President Yolanda Trevino, 18 years. And Bill Perkins, 16 years. Thank you so much for your service to the club. We are so glad you're a part of our family. Our John Beretta, who's celebrating 7 years with our club, was recognized by the Chamber in the Unmasked Hometown Hero Awards in August, and it wasn't mentioned back when it was noted, so I wanted to mention it today. The Bloomington Foundation received one of the awards, along with Julie Alonso from Hoosier Hills Food Bank, which is the beneficiary of our Rotary Toast. The Unmasked Hometown Hero Award went to individuals and organizations who helped push our community forward this year despite all of the challenges that have been set out for us. So thank you, John. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, but you're very fuzzy and crackly.
You have some distortion.
I'm seeing that I'm having connection issues with my speaker. So hopefully that doesn't keep happening because I have a lot to tell you today. But thank you, John, and the Bloomington Health Foundation for your service. A quick activity that I'd like to try. Am I still touch and go here? Shoot. I don't know if we'll be able to get to my activity. We might have to.
Just try to do it later.
Okay.
You're good.
I'm good for a minute. So let's jump forward to Mike Baker. Would you like to give us our Rotary Toast announcement?
Yes, well, I'm sure you all know that Rotary Toast is our largest fundraiser, and we're doing well. We're getting people signing up every day. So you just need to go to rotarytoast.com. That's the easiest way to sign up. And you have a lot of options. If you want to do an individual view from 25, I hope you'll consider 100 for individual. We're building quite a list now, and there are going to be some surprises. with the video. There's been a lot of effort behind making this a fun event, which we all need occasionally in our lives during this COVID period. And I also want to mention, you should have all gotten a Survey Monkey concerning this Sunday at 5 p.m. at IU Memorial Stadium. And if not, go back in and search for your Survey Monkey from Natalie. But it's going to be a really cool deal where we're going to make a Rotary wheel out of all the Rotarian Paul Harris Fellows and their spouses. And for any of you that have named other people as a Paul Harris Fellow, please get a hold of those people and invite them to the Sunday shoot at Memorial Stadium. It's going to be done outside. We've gotten complete okay from the city and the county health department. We'll be following all of the COVID wearing masks into the stadium. There'll be a brief period where we take it off, but we're going to be really distanced. If we get enough people, Brian Hayne says that we may be able to stretch the entire width or length of the football field to make this wheel, which would be a pretty neat drone video. So if you consider it, go back in, do your Survey Monkey. And again, for those of you that have made others Rotarians, Paul Harris Fellows, get a hold of them and see if they will come out to Memorial Stadium for a nice drone shoot.
Mike, is there something specific you want us to wear, a color or anything?
You know, I mean, obviously it's going to be done. The drone's going to come down pretty close, so we would like people to wear their pins if you can find them. You know, if you've got a Rotary hat or a Rotary shirt or some kind of Rotary paraphernalia that you want to put on, it'll help dress up the video a little bit. So we're just going to try to make it a fun event. It won't take too long. So again, hope to see as many of you out there as possible. All Paul Harris Fellows and anybody that you know, maybe that's a Paul Harris Fellow that's no longer in our club. We're trying to contact as many as possible, and spouses are more than welcome.
Thank you, Mike. We are saying business casual for the attire. Our honoree for the toast, Bob Hamill, will join us and park on the east side of the football stadium that's facing Assembly Hall and enter through gate E5. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you so much. Can you hear me? Awesome. Okay, I think we got it fixed, but we will skip over my activity that I had planned for today to allow time for the rest of our agenda. We'll do it next week. So we are always offering volunteering opportunities, at least one every month. We have about 6 right now. I'm not going to mention them all, but the upcoming one is our Adopt a Road cleanup that will be on World Polio Day, October 24th. And so I would encourage anyone who will join us to wear purple or your In Polio Now gear to raise awareness for that day. There's a few things that I will that are forthcoming. I will announce to you as we get closer to that date, but come physically distanced, help us clean up our road that's our namesake, and it'll be a lot of fun. And I have a new system that's going to be going out for checking on volunteer opportunities, signing up for reflections, introducing guests. All of our volunteer opportunities will be in one place. You can just go to that calendar and see all the available opportunities through Civic Champs. That'll be coming out this week. Look for that in your email. And now I would like to introduce Dave Meyer to do a new member induction today. Dave?
Hello, fellow Bloomington Rotarians. Thank you. This is a very, one of the most enjoyable things that we do as a club, which is to induct new members. And so today we have a new member, another Be More Award recipient. So Cindy Knightheart is going to join us, Cynthia Knightheart. So Cynthia's, a little bit about her. Cynthia's parents taught her the importance of giving back to community. And she's been volunteering since middle school when she sat in a small hut in downtown Columbus, Indiana, handing out architectural maps and answering questions for visitors. During high school, she answered calls at a crisis hotline center and volunteered at Madagascar State Hospital. A bit more recently, she was a Girl Scout leader for 7 years, president of the board of the Monroe County Humane Association, and a docent for the IU Art Museum. Her time is currently devoted to the service of the organization Psi Iota Xi, or Sciotes, which runs the Bloomington Thrift Shop. The thrift shop sells high-quality clothing and housewares, and all the profits go to nonprofit organizations in the community by way of grants. She served as president of the board for 2 years. She's now immediate past president. For her work with the Bloomington Thrift Shop, Cynthia was awarded a 2020 Be More Award. Cynthia graduated from Indiana University with a double major in journalism and English. Wanting to try out teaching, she worked on a teaching certificate and student taught for 2 months in England, way back when. Upon graduation, she began her working life still trying a bit of everything. She did public relations work at the state capitol, prepared maps for the Census Bureau, managed a bakery deli for her parents, prepared accounting books for a Bloomington restaurant, sold furniture at Kittle's, worked at a horse stable, managed a tuxedo and bridal store, was manager at Walden Books for 10 years, taught a class at the Kelly School of Business Placement Office, worked in customer service and sales at United Airlines for 8 years, and ended her career at the IU admissions office as a admissions counselor for 14 years. Truly a jack of all trades, or Jacqueline of all trades. During her time at IU, she received her master's degree in library and information sciences. Cynthia says instead of climbing the career ladder, she took a meandering stroll through life, collecting new experiences and meeting interesting people all the way. She's now very happily retired. Time since retiring has been spent traveling to Australia and Spain, and more recently, lots and lots of gardening and reading. She's been part of the same book club here in Bloomington for 24 years. She has 2 adopted children that are now in their 20s that still live in Bloomington, and she married me, Dave Meyer, in 2017. While in lockdown, they adopted a small goofy cat from the animal shelter and have taken up the hobby of fossil collecting. Cynthia looks forward to continuing her public service through Rotary. Now, Cindy, on behalf of the board and membership of the Bloomington Rotary Club, it is a great pleasure to welcome you as the newest member of our club. We look forward to the fellowship that you will share, as well as your participation in many club projects that make our community, country, and world a better place. Though Rotary is not a political organization, Rotarians are vitally concerned with good citizenship and the election of strong leaders to public office. While Rotary is not a religious organization, it is built on those eternal principles that have served as a moral compass for people throughout the ages. Rotary is an organization of business and professional people pledged to uphold the highest ethical and moral standards. Rotarians believe that worldwide fellowship and peace can be achieved when people unite with the Rotary motto of service above self. Rotary activities exemplify the charity and sacrifice that one would expect from people who believe they have a responsibility to help others. Cindy, you have been chosen for membership in the Bloomington Rotary Club because your fellow members believe you to be a leader in our community and because you possess the qualities to champion the messages and principles of Rotary. You are a representative of your vocation within our club and community, and you now become an ambassador to Bloomington Rotary, carrying the ideals of service to all within your sphere of influence. Our community will know and judge Rotary by your character and service. We also look forward to you for inspiration as we strive to become better Rotarians. Let me pause to pen Cindy. Okay. We ask that you wear your Rotary pin with pride, not only to all Rotary functions, but in your many endeavors as a symbol of your commitment to the Rotary ideals and our recognition of your contribution toward a better world. Fellow Rotarians, please sit or lean up and welcome our newest Rotarian, Cindy Knightheart.
Thank you.
Yay! Welcome.
Woo! That has to be the most fun and interesting new member induction we've had. So thank you so much, Dave, and welcome, Cindy. We are so glad to have you as one of our family.
Thank you.
With that, this is a wonderful introduction to our speaker, Jessica Hayne, who will be sharing her own Bloomington or Rotary journey in general with us, but I'd like to give you some background before she gets started. Jessica Hayne is the Human Resources Director at Oliver Winery in Bloomington, where she's worked for over 21 years. At Oliver, she's fortunate to be a member of the leadership team, working to ensure sustainable growth through effective hiring, dynamic training, and strategic planning. She also loves to give tours of the facility and happily extends a personal invitation to come visit and have a taste. She holds 2 degrees from Indiana University, BA in Speech Communication and Theater and Drama in 2000, and serves in leadership positions on the board of multiple nonprofits in Bloomington, including Cardinal Stage Company and the Community Foundation of Bloomington, Monroe County. She has also served as adjunct faculty at the Indiana University O'Neill School of Public and Environmental Affairs, teaching V373 HR Management. In 2020, she was named the Woman of the Year by the City of Bloomington. She's married to Brian Hayne, also a Rotarian and current president of Bloomington North Rotary, and together they're raising the next generation of Rotarians, Grace, who is 7, Eleanor, who is 3, and 2-year-old boy-girl twins, Alexander and Artemis. Jessica is a Paul Harris Fellow +6, and she and Brian are members of the Paul Harris Society. They have recently established the Hayne Family Endowment at the Community Foundation of Bloomington, Monroe County. In her free time, how she has any, I'll never know, she enjoys cooking with her kids, going to theater, saving the environment, ask her about her solar panels, and blogging about motherhood, leadership, and lifelong learning. She loves to laugh, to talk in front of groups of people, and to drink hot coffee. Welcome, Jessica.
All right, hi everybody. I am going to share my screen here with you. And we will get going. Can you see it? Thumbs up? All right, thank you. Oh my gosh, it's so good to be with all of you. I couldn't imagine a better way to spend my birthday with so many friends, right? And so thank you for taking the time to listen to me today. I appreciate it. For those of you who know me and you just heard Ashley read my bio, you know that I have a theater degree from IU. I was on the speech team at IU. And when I became into the district governor line, I thought, when I get to speak to clubs, I'm not going to need a PowerPoint presentation. I'm just going to get up in front of everyone and I'm going to wing it. And they're going to love it, right? And here I am today sharing a really crummy looking PowerPoint presentation. But I hope that you find it somewhat enjoyable, and I am going to time myself so that I stay on track. And if you have questions, I'll stay on at the end, but I also have my email address flash on the screen a couple of times. I would love your feedback. I have been looking forward to speaking to the Bloomington Rotary Club most of all, because so many of you were the first Rotarians I ever met in Bloomington, and you're all my friends. So thank you again for giving me this opportunity today. I want to tell my Rotary story today because I think that talking about how we joined Rotary, why we stayed in Rotary, and what Rotary means to us is really critical in attracting new Rotarians. And I'm so glad to be here today when you inducted Sydney. That was like the most fantastic induction ever. And Morgan Adam is on the call too. I mean, it's just great to see the family of Rotary growing and growing. And you sang to me. So like I'm already just a little shook from how special this meeting is. So as I tell my story, you will hear that there is a theme of family. And as I progress through the slideshow, I have 3 asks of you, and they're really easy, and I know you can do it. So first, a little bit about me. I am from a small family in northern Indiana, and my grandfather, Everett, was a Rotarian. It was hard to find pictures because a lot of our pictures were Polaroids, and if you live through the Polaroid era, you know there's very little evidence left from that time. But this is me and my grandfather and my little brother, and my grandfather and I had a really special, close relationship. I was the only granddaughter, and he was a father of 3 sons. So we were really close, and we did a lot together. We spent a lot of time together. But I grew up never knowing that my grandfather was a Rotarian. He was a lifelong Rotarian. And like so many of his peers and people of his generation, he never talked about Rotary. He never shared that with his family. And it wasn't until I was a high school senior and I visited the Logansport Rotary Club to receive, I think it was $100 student Rotarian scholarship, that I realized that my grandfather was sitting in the audience, happily clapping for me, very proud, but very quiet. And seeing all of those passionate, kind, and caring grown-ups in the room really stuck with me. And I was really inspired by their female president. I did some research. This was the mid-90s, and I confirmed that Judy McNarney was the Logansport Rotary Club's first female president, and that's the year that I visited the club. And this idea of Rotary as something that I could do someday got stuck in the back of my mind. And I waited, and I graduated from high school, and I went to college, and I started my professional career. And I waited. And I waited to be asked to join Rotary. And I'm not a very patient person, but I thought that I needed to be asked. And it wasn't until the summer of 2007, sitting on the back porch of our dear friend's house, having, of course, a glass of wine, that they brought up the idea of Rotary. And they mentioned that they were both members of a local Rotary club. And I said, wait. Did you say Rotary? Are you in Rotary? Because I want to be in Rotary. Do you know how I can get in Rotary? There was a lot of the word Rotary in that conversation, but it could have been about the wine. I'm not really sure. But my friends looked at each other and they said, well, you could join our club. And 2 weeks later, I was a proud member of the Bloomington Sunrise Rotary family. Here's a couple of photos of that club. You know them. Here we are serving Thanksgiving dinner at the Old Terry's location. Here I am inducting in the middle photo, my very first Rotarian, my good friend Bernie Parker. And the other photo of the 3 of us, that's from last summer when we were able to do inductions in person. So I don't think I realized at the time how lucky I was to get to join this really small but mighty club. I mean, right away, they let me get involved. In my second year, they let me run their biggest fundraiser. They listened to me. They laughed at my jokes. Man, I love laughing. And they made me feel like family. And I will never forget the phone call that I got asking me to be vice president of our club. And in our club, that meant that I would be vice president, president-elect, and president. I was sitting in my cubicle at Oliver Winery. And there is no doubt that that phone call changed my life. Serving as club president in 2011, 2012 was a joy, and it gave me such a sense of purpose as a young professional. And that's why I personally love this year's Rotary International theme of Rotary Opens Opportunities, because it certainly did for me. And I realized early in my Rotary journey that I was very inspired by the leaders that I saw in Rotary, the men and women in leadership positions. And I also realized that I wanted to see more women, more young people, and more diversity. And because I believe that you can't be what you can't see, I raised my hand and said, I'll give it a shot. And I was really honored to be able to serve as our district trainer and as an assistant governor. And while serving in those roles, I started to ask a lot of questions of district leaders. You have so many wonderful leaders in this club. There's too many to name, but you know who you are. You were mentors for me. You served as a great example and encouraged me to grow and to pursue this big volunteer role. And I set my sights on becoming a district governor, and it's a goal that I pursued for many years. So fast forward 13 years from when I first joined Rotary, and here I am. I am a full-time human resources director at the best gosh darn winery in the world, my home away from home. I'm a mom of 4. I'm an active volunteer, and I'm one of the proudest Rotarians that you'll ever meet. And my family is a true Rotary family. Brian's a club president. He loved being a club president so much last year that he took a victory lap this year. And he's doing it again in the year that I'm district governor. Fantastic. And we take our kids to Rotary functions. That is probably the biggest bummer for me right now, is that we can't bring our kids to Rotary, but we will again, because sharing Rotary is my absolute favorite thing. So I'm going to start making my 3 asks of you right now, because I think that everybody should have a chance to join Rotaract or Rotary. So if we were in person, I would ask you why you joined, but we're virtual, so you're off the hook. So I'm going to tell you why I joined Rotary. If I think back to 2007, Jessica Hayne, I was inspired by people that I met in Rotary. I was looking for friends. I wanted to connect. And I wanted opportunities to grow as a leader. Oliver Winery is a fantastic company, but at that moment in my career, I wanted more opportunity to grow, and I found it in Rotary. So think about why you joined, but more importantly, think about why you stay. Why are you here today? Why have you keep showing up on Zoom? What is the reason you stay in Rotary? And for me, it's absolutely the people, hands down. Here are a couple of photos just so you have something to look at besides me. That is a District 6580 gathering at the Rotary International Convention in Toronto. You can see a couple of Bloomington and Bedford Rotarians in that picture. So many friends. The bottom corner picture is Brian and I at another international convention with our friends Barbara and Ken. We met Barbara and Ken in a parking lot in Montreal because we drove our RV up to the Montreal convention, parked it, and had no way to get to the actual convention hall. And we met Barbara and Ken, and they said, "You look okay." They're from Texas. "You look okay, we'll give you a ride." And we've been longtime friends ever since. Barbara was one of the first people to encourage me to try to be a district governor. And that top picture, that's my friend Grace. Many of you who have been in Rotary for a long time know who Grace is. She was the first child to receive a life-changing open heart surgery through Gift of Life. Grace and I are almost the same age, and we both have had the same open heart surgery. But hers was paid for by Rotary. So think about the people that you meet in Rotary, the people who inspire you, the people who allow you to do the good work that you do together. And hopefully that's why you stay. but maybe you have a different reason. I also love service, right? So I threw in this photo of me unloading a truckload of diapers. By the way, this week is National Diaper Awareness Week. In case you don't know, 1 in 3 US families don't have enough clean diapers for their babies. Little plug. By the way, that truckload is basically what it takes to diaper a baby from 0 to 2 years. Really interesting stuff. So please think about why you joined. And my first ask today is for you to always talk about Rotary, because this is how we bring in new members. This could be as simple as adding Rotarian to your email address, to your business card. I've got it on the bottom of mine. There's a little Rotary wheel. Wear your mask. I give away these little, you would call them eyeglasses wipes, but they're like cell phone wipes with Rotary on them to people I meet. Put it in my social media profile. And talk about going to these meetings with your friends and family. Because what gets talked about happens, right? So I like easy ways to remember things, and I'm a Gen Xer. So if you spell this out, to always talk about Rotary International, it becomes Atari. And playing Atari is fun. Talking about Rotary is fun, right? So think about this. Have you played some Atari today? Have you talked about Rotary? And as you're talking about Rotary, I would also encourage you to create a wish list. And I just realized I forgot to get out my wish list for you, but I carry it around with me everywhere. And this is where you write down the name of people that you think should join Rotary. And you talk to them about Rotary. I've had 3 of my wishes come true because of this list. That's ask number 1. Always talk about Rotary International. So a couple of other things about me, because I think it's fun to talk about my journey. If you haven't figured this out yet, I'm a little bit of a ham. I like to have fun. I am here on this earth to have fun. Rotary should be fun. There's me and President Holger Canuck. This is a typical photo that I would take with people. It's not very buttoned up. It's fun. So because I think Rotary should be fun, and I think more people should know about Rotary, I also want you to know, and I hinted at it earlier, but I was a really sick kid. And this is not a story that I used to share about myself, but I've started to, and it really seems to resonate with people. So I had 2 open heart surgeries when I was a child, and I've had a total of 6 actually in my adult life. And there's probably more on the horizon for me. So I take my health and public health really seriously. So combine these 2 things. I want to have fun, and I love my life. So you should know that I don't waste time. I want you to seize the opportunities that this global pandemic has given us to connect virtually. I want you to seize the opportunity to serve others, because you can. So I'm a busy mom. I work full time. I have other volunteer opportunities. I do like sleeping. That should actually be my hobby right now. I just like sleeping is pretty much at the top of the list. But I've been in Rotary for 13 years. I'm a young district governor. I'm not the youngest in our district. I think I am the youngest woman. And I'd love for someone to beat that. And my husband, Brian, and I are going to become major donors this year. And for those of you who don't know, a major donor in the Rotary Foundation is someone who has given accumulatively, if that's even a word, $10,000 to the Rotary Foundation. Now that's a big deal. And I only mention it because I want you to know how I got there. I want you to know how I got here in general. I love Harry Potter, and I think about this quote a lot. This is from Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. And Harry is talking about how he did all these great things. And he says, really, most of it was luck. I was in the right place at the right time. I rarely knew what I was doing, and I almost always had help. And that's me to a T. I'm extremely lucky to be where I am today, to have had the opportunities that growing up in the United States has afforded me. I have a supportive employer who helps me to do this great volunteer work. If I hadn't worked at Oliver Winery for 21 years, I wouldn't have the vacation time, the flexibility, and the trust to do this really big volunteer job. I have a husband who gets it. He's a Rotarian himself. And our district has a part-time district administrative assistant, past District Governor Betty Dunham. I pretty much work for Betty. She keeps me on my toes. I couldn't do any of this without any of them. And that major donor status, that took 13 years. So that's my second ask for you today. I want you to set your own foundation goal. Now, I'm not sitting here asking all of you to become major donors, though if you hear that in my speech and want to go for it, I think that's great. But I want you to remember that as a brand new baby Rotarian in 2007, I think I gave $25 or $50 to the foundation. But I listened and I learned about it. And I started to understand that the foundation gives back to our communities through district grants, that our foundation is helping to promote peace, to bring safe water, and to provide life-changing heart surgeries. And I thought, that's a pretty great organization to support. And so I talked to Brian and we made a goal. Because again, what gets talked about gets done. And so over 13 years, the two of us have given the money to reach this goal. This is a giving club. I don't have to tell you how important it is. You have so many Paul Harris Fellows. You have major donors in your club. You have benefactors. You have bequest society. You know what these words mean. So thank you. You have a couple of people who are very, very close to becoming a Paul Harris plus something. So I would encourage you to reach out to Mike Baker and see if a couple $100s could help somebody achieve that goal. So set your own foundation goal, please. Not really for your club, but for yourself. Maybe it's to give $100 this year and to join hundreds of thousands of Rotarians around the world who do just that. Maybe it's to become a Paul Harris Fellow for the first time and give $1,000 over the course of time. Or maybe you're a new Rotarian and your goal is to make your first gift. I know you can do it. Little bits add up over time. So thanks for thinking about that. So to finish up my journey, I wanted to tell you that my path to leadership has had its starts and stops. When our daughter Grace was born, she's 7 now, I almost left Rotary. Being a mom is tough. But my club didn't let me go. They didn't stop me from coming. They encouraged me to bring her in her little bumpo seat. And then later to family-friendly events. And when you tell Hayne kids that they can come to a Rotary event, they show up, usually in logo wear. Being able to bring our kids to Rotary is the reason that we are still Rotarians. And I know this club embraces family-friendly as well. I mean, we were all together at Wonder Lab. That's a picture of Race for Literacy. So thank you for helping me to share Rotary with my kids. Having Morgan Adam on this phone call is a perfect example of why we share Rotary with our kids. So just to wrap up, I want to tell you that I have really benefited from strong leaders in my life who have encouraged me and shared with me that even if I don't know what I'm doing all the time, that they can help me. And so if you remember anything from this talk, please know that I can help you. I can help answer questions or help you find the answers. Rotary only got better for me when I stepped out from my club, which was such an amazing experience, and into the district and into the zone and to an international convention. So my third ask for you this year is to think about attending a district event. We've got some here upcoming. I know that you all do such a great job of promoting these. Zone Summit is coming up on Saturday, October 10th. It's never been easier to go to a Zone Summit. It's virtual. So please think about that. The speakers are going to be amazing. You will be so inspired when you hear Chris Wells, who's a Rotaractor, talk about how Rotaract helped him as he was battling a major flare of depression. Because people matter. So think about that. We'll talk about RILA. There's more information coming on that. It's going to be virtual this year. Lauren Snyder and Joy Harder are planning that. We'll have district grant training in November and January, and the district conference is sort of up in the air, everybody. More to come. But just to finish up, so that's my third ask. Here are my goals for the year. I've shared these before, but if you didn't take this away from my presentation, I'm not doing a good enough job yet. I want to help you grow your members because I think everyone deserves this opportunity. I want you to think about giving to the foundation. I want to help you as you flex and grow. You've helped me as leaders in this virtual format. I want to encourage young Rotarians and Rotaractors because that's a personal passion of mine. And of course, I want to have fun because I think Rotary is fun. Last year was the first year that we gave away a district governor citation. Santana and I came up with this in a parking lot one time. That's where the best ideas come up, I think. 2 Rotarians in a parking lot. We thought we wanted to be able to honor more clubs for the good work that they did. And of course, Bloomington earned a district governor citation last year. I know you can earn it this year. Here's the quick notes on it. You've got to have a gain of 2 members by the end of March. I know you can do this. 30% female membership. You're at 34, and actually you might be at 35 with your new member today. I didn't do the quick math. Or host a family-friendly event. And then give an average of $100 per member to the Rotary Foundation. This is all achievable. You did all of this last year. I'm looking forward to giving this to you again in April. So just to wrap up, I want to leave you with one of my favorite quotes from Margaret Mead. Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's really the only thing that ever has. So in summary, please remember to play some Atari. Always talk about Rotary International. Make your wish lists. It really does work. Set your own personal foundation goal. I'd love to hear about it. And please think about joining us at a district or zone level event. It's never been easier to do that. I'm going to wrap up with a big thank you. It's been so nice to see all of your faces on Zoom, and I can hang around if anybody has any questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Jessica. As always, so inspiring, and I can't wait to play some Atari. I always do, but I'm going to do even more now. And you mentioned that you can stay after for any questions, but we could probably take one now before we wrap up the meeting, if anyone has a burning question for Jessica. Anyone? Okay, we'll save for after. And I would like to introduce Sally Gaskell to introduce next week's program.
Next week, we get to hear from Ben Brabson, a professor emeritus of physics at Indiana University. He's going to be talking about showers, bananas, and climate change.
I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. Michael, please share the 4-way test graphic for us to close our meeting by reciting it together. Yeah, are you coming in? Yeah. of the things we think,
say,
or do. First, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will it build goodwill, better friendships? Fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned? And fifth, is it fun? That closes our meeting for today, but we have some time here to ask questions of Jessica, so please speak up.